Hello all, welcome to the bi-weekly webinar for August 25th. Debbie is out today, so you are stuck with me and Bria, but we'll try not to sink the boat. Today's agenda, we're going to have our general updates that we always have. And then from here on out, at least for a little while, we're going to have regular updates from Michelle Allen about relief funding. So kind of what the efforts are that are going on behind the scenes. So she'll come on after our general updates and give us some of that information. And then the large part of our program today will be about family-friendly workplaces. So initiatives that are already taking place, how to encourage family-friendly workplaces, as well as encouraging people to participate in the family-friendly workplace survey that's going around. We also have a message from Dr. Lee Norman, who's the secretary for KDHE. So we're going to go ahead and play that now if you haven't seen it yet. And if you can't hear it or need to turn it up, just let me know.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lee Norman, Secretary of the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. Licensed child care in Kansas is essential to the well-being of not only our children, but our communities. Licensed child care ensures our children are in safe, out-of-home care. It allows parents and guardians to return to work, and it helps keep the Kansas economy growing. Kansas child care facilities and providers play a crucial role in promoting wellness. As a child care worker, you are frontline protection for the children you serve, their families, your staff, and your own families. Continued infection control measures are essential. This includes screening for illness, hand washing, and the use of masks as appropriate. COVID-19 prevention strategies remain critical to protect people, including children and staff, even those who are vaccinated and not vaccinated, especially in areas of moderate to high community transmission levels. This includes getting your vaccination, serve their families, your staff, and your own families. Continued infection control measures are essential. This includes screening for illness, hand washing, and the use of masks as appropriate. COVID-19 prevention strategies remain critical to protect people, including children and staff, even those who are vaccinated and not vaccinated, especially in areas of moderate to high community transmission levels. This includes getting your vaccination and being tested. Regular testing is important in a child care facility to ensure no one has the illness. For testing locations near you, visit knowbeforeyougoks.com. Vaccination is currently the leading public health prevention strategy to end COVID-19 pandemic. Promoting vaccination among eligible individuals can help early care and education programs protect staff and children in their care as well as their families. Our takeaways from this past year include, number one, children don't mind frequent hand washing. 2, children are adaptable and appreciate your looking out for their well-being. 3, children will follow your lead. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, distance as you can in this setting, and stay home when you are ill. 4, parents want to know their children are in a safe environment. COVID is not over, and it's important that you, as child care workers, continue to be vigilant in our fight to protect our youngest Kansans. If you haven't already, get vaccinated. Visit vaccines.gov for your locations near you. Our updated provider guidance is available on our website, www.kdheks.gov/coronavirus. This is Dr. Lee Norman.
Sorry about that. I just want to make sure you got to see the good part twice. You can also find really good updated vaccine information and just practice information on the CDC's website, which is going to be incredibly similar to what's listed on KDHE's website, but just another resource for you if you haven't seen the updated guidance provided by the CDC. One final reminder about this professional development opportunity, and there are CEUs available. So in the realm of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have screening to identify preschool children's strengths and challenges using a cultural wealth framework. And again, this is going to be hosted by Ioma Iruka. She's from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And the premise of this training is understanding how a lot of our standard assessments are not centered on cultural wealth, and they are not coming from the vantage point of certain demographics. And so a lot of times children can get left behind if they aren't being represented in the assessment tools that they're being measured by. So it also talks about multiple intelligences and just kind of better understanding our children and how unique they all are. Again, that's going to be tomorrow, August 26th from 1 to 2:30. They are recorded. So if you aren't able to actually make that time, you can watch it at a later date. And then the link to register is going to be put in the chat. Again, we just have one more day for that opportunity. I know you guys have we've heard about this, and we're starting to get feedback now from the Kansas Can Success Tour. But just a reminder, Dr. Randy Watson, the Kansas Commissioner of Education, is back on the road trying to gather feedback on the state's vision for the K-12 education. And this is a follow-up to the conversation that he embarked upon in 2015. So if you know people that don't know about this yet, maybe they're in rural communities, they're in districts that have a hard time connecting to people that can lend their voice, this would be a great opportunity, especially in those rural communities, to really participate in the conversation and connect. You know that Kansas is bigger than just Northeast Kansas. So you can visit the Kansas Can Success Tour, and there's a link here. Look at event flyers, look at the list of tour dates and location, and just any updates that are provided as he goes on his tour. An exciting update that we have for you that we haven't been able to talk about yet is the 2021 Home Visiting Conference. So I actually have been able to sit in on a couple of the planning meetings, and there's some really, really interesting offerings that are going to be taking place at this conference. It's going to be September 27th to the 28th, and it'll be 12:30 to 4:30 both days. So it's only in the afternoon. It's not a full day event. Registration opened on August 23rd. So if you're interested, you are clear to register now. And they haven't come up with an official number of total contact hours that are going to be available, but there will be contact hours for home visitors. So if you need some annual contact hours, this would be a wonderful way to get it. But all attendees will also receive a certificate of attendance. So if you're interested, DECA has set up a amazing website, and you can go check it out. They'll continue to upload information about speakers and what you can learn about if you attend. So I encourage you to at least check it out, especially if you're a home visitor and you need those hours. So just a reminder that the Hero Relief Child Care Assistance was expanded. If you haven't looked at the household size chart, it would probably behoove you to do it or do it for a friend, because those limits were increased. It's now 250% or less of the federal poverty level will be eligible for assistance. And then they've also modified the shared deduction rules for essential workers and expanded the eligibility period. So really great resource to have. If you go into the Kansas Hero Relief website just in general, there's a lot of information about all types of assistance and how maybe you qualify for something in other domains. One of our newer opportunities I think is really exciting is the Casito Friday Night Live. So these are going to be professional development opportunities that are offered outside of working hours to accommodate providers. So September 10th, they're going to have a presentation titled All Children Come with Families Attached. And then the 15th of October will be Transforming Challenging Behavior in Young Children. Casito understands that not all providers are able to make it, or not all support service providers are able to make it to those times, or would prefer to do it during regular business hours. So they've also added Friday afternoon live. The first one will be 9/24 from 12:30 to 2. And this will be all about resiliency and leadership. So if you are interested, if you need clock hours, check it out. You can register online and check out what's happening after October 15th, but we'll try and keep you updated with the titles that are being offered. Just a reminder for those that don't know, the Early Childhood Recommendations Panel is the third Friday of every month, 9 to 11:30. You can watch live on YouTube at the Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund website. What's really interesting for this year is that the format has changed. So there's actually 3 individual work groups that break out into separate meetings, but you can view all of them. So after the initial updates and presentation to the whole group, then the subgroups go into session. And just as a viewer, you can move from group to group if you're really interested about quality or you're interested about family engagement. But they've now made that accessible so everybody can view, and you can just kind of hop around and watch what you want to watch. And then our recap from the August meeting. So in the beginning section, that first hour, they talked about the Kansas Early Learning Standards and Toolkit. And if you have any feedback about either of those things, you can reach out to Natalie McLean and Kim Kennedy. And they also learned about the Supporting You peer support program. And like I said, this is the first time that they were able to break out into their focus, their panel work groups. So the 3 areas are childcare recruitment and retention, family partnerships, and then quality and environments. So like I said, if you want kind of a bird's eye view of what's taking place within the panel and the work that's happening, I think this format will be really nice to be able to just kind of get a good idea of what's going on and be part of those conversations as they're happening. So now, Michelle, I'm going to turn it over to you for your relief update.
Thanks, Hannah. So as Hannah said, my name is Michelle Allen. I work for the Department for Children and Families, and I am the CCDF Pandemic Relief Project Manager. So just want to take some time beginning today and then continuing for the time being, just to give a little bit of an update on what we have going on at DCF, the efforts that we're able to support through the federal funding coming through the Child Care Development Fund, and just keep everyone as up to date as we can. So some of the things that I just want to highlight that we have done to date. Hannah already talked a little bit about the Hero Relief Program, and I just want to share that not only is this for essential workers, we've expanded eligibility for those who are not considered to be essential employees. So that higher eligibility level is available to all Kansas employees, regardless of essential worker status. And the limits are pretty high now. So encourage anyone who may qualify for that to go ahead and apply. And then the other thing we just want to talk about is sustainability grants. So the applications for those closed on July 31st, and we had over 3,100 applications from licensed childcare facilities around the state. So we're very excited about that and very excited to get direct financial assistance to our licensed childcare facilities across the state. And we also just want to take another opportunity to thank our partners at Childcare Aware of Kansas for administering those grants for us. They have done great work. And then they also have grant navigators available for our licensed facilities to help with questions around how to spend these funds, what they can and can't use them for, how to submit their monthly tracking forms, things like that, but then also for any other grants that are currently available, any questions around programs applying for those, things like that. We can go to the next slide. As we have finalized agreements in place, I will definitely share more specifics around each of these individual things. But obviously just want to make sure that we have things signed and in place before we share them all publicly. But just wanted to share kind of our areas of focus that we're working within as we're planning for our initial phase of relief funding over the next several months. So we've already talked a little bit about direct family support and expanded childcare assistance opportunities. Also our provider supports with sustainability grants. We're also planning to make investments in quality, specifically around links to quality, which I know many people on this call are familiar with. Workforce support, so investing in a workforce registry, and also additional professional development opportunities, and then infrastructure supports throughout the state. So just looking at ways that we can increase partnerships throughout the state. So I will look forward to bringing another update to everyone in the next couple of weeks. If anyone does have questions in the meantime, I'm happy to go ahead and drop my email in the chat and would be happy to discuss anything. So thanks for the time, and I look forward to bringing you more updates.
Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate it. Now we are going to move into the first part of our program, which will be presented by Ann Mack from Wichita State University. She's going to talk about family-friendly workplaces. So Ann, whenever you're ready, the screen is yours and you can take over.
Right. First, I need to get some handouts into the room. So let me try to do that here for a second. You can just pretend I'm walking around handing out for, let's see, here comes one, 2.
You walk at a really nice pace.
Oh, yes, thanks. I'm trying to be swift. And 3. And last one. Okay. And all right, let me go ahead and stop this. Share my screen. There we are. Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks, Hannah. Sorry for that pause while I got the handouts to you, but really this is all about those 4 documents that you see in the chat now. I am presenting new resource materials, and that's what my presentation is about. So again, my name is Ann Mack from the WSU Community Engagement Institute. And I am presenting these materials on behalf of the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, because WSU Community Engagement Institute helps convene the Kansas Power of the Positive Coalition, and working with them to help them make progress on child maltreatment prevention. So very briefly, the organizing idea for child maltreatment prevention is supporting the development of safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and environments for Kansas children. And that, therefore, one of the things that WSU does help KDHE with is to collect feedback from Kansans about what they need from their workplaces in order to provide those safe, stable, nurturing environments for their children. And here's what we've learned so far. We asked workers, how important are subsidized childcare costs to your ability to provide a safe, stable, nurturing environment for your children? And in aggregate early results, parents said it's extremely important. But then we asked employers who had received the results of these surveys, are you making changes to this workplace condition as a result of participating in the survey? And in early aggregate results, the employers said, we're not planning on making changes to subsidized childcare costs. And so in response to this data, KDHE asked WSU to create education materials to help employers understand the feasibility of supporting childcare. We imagine that maybe employers said, well, that sounds difficult or expensive. And so that's maybe why they said no. And so those are the materials that you have now. The first one I'd like to bring your attention to is this one that is about the dependent care flexible spending account. It has this image on it, and it says on the back, it says that it's a material for employers. And a dependent care flexible spending account, also known as a dependent care FSA, allows parents to pay for childcare with pre-tax dollars. And this helps them reduce their total taxable income, meaning that they pay less on taxes as a result. And so it is a pretty easy way to help parents save on childcare. And so the dependent care FSA dollars can be spent on work-related expenses, including childcare, before and after school programs, preschool, and summer day camps. So in a typical year, the dependent care FSA allows parents to save about 30% on the first $5,000 that they spend on dependent care. And so just walking you through that a little bit, if you're not familiar, if you receive that $5,000 as income, you would be taxed on it, and then it would only be worth about $3,500. But if you spend that $5,000 on dependent care, then it's worth $5,000. And so that's why it's a really good vehicle for saving money on childcare. Now, in 2021, because of the American Rescue Plan, the new limit is that you get to save 30% on the first $10,500 that you spend on dependent care. So it's a huge amount of savings this year. So again, maybe when we asked employers if they were willing to help parents afford childcare, they didn't think that it might be something or as simple or as inexpensive as a dependent care flexible spending account. And that's what this sheet helps explain to employers. Then we went the next step, which is to create another sheet that's designed with parents as the intended audience. What do parents need to know? Because if we want them to advocate for childcare. And so the next sheet that you see that has this image on it is it's still about the dependent care flexible spending account. It's still the same information, but it's designed with the parents in mind, so that they are armed with the information that they need to advocate for childcare. And this is what the advocacy would look like. Ask your employer if they offer the dependent care FSA, because not everybody does. And if not, encourage them to look into it, because the cost of outsourcing that administration for the dependent care FSA is likely to be more than offset by the savings that they avoid in payroll taxes. So just to make that clear, the employer doesn't have to pay Social Security tax on the employer portions of the benefits. And so because that saves an employer about 7.65%, that might either make them break even on their administrative costs, or maybe they'll even save money too. So the parents are saving money, the employer is saving money. It's a win-win. And then if they do offer the dependent care FSA, ask the employer to contribute to it, because many don't know that not only can an employee contribute to their dependent care FSA using pre-tax dollars, but employers can contribute to it too. And so this gives employers an easy way to do that. And it's sure easier than going to your employer and asking for them to help you pay for childcare, to have some materials available like this. So then the second opportunity for employers to help with childcare affordability is the Kansas Child Daycare Assistance Tax Credit. And this is not to be confused with the child and dependent care tax credits that parents can claim on their taxes. This is a tax credit for employers. Right now in Kansas, it's only available for C corporations. And once you, the kinds of expenses that employers could incur that they can claim this tax credit on include paying for childcare services for employees' children, providing a facility and equipment for childcare services for employees' children, and assisting in locating childcare services for employees' children. if the workplace, the C corporation, incurs any of these costs, they are eligible expenses toward the tax credit. So this is a refundable tax credit. And very, very quickly, what a refundable tax credit means is that if the amount of the tax credit exceeds the C corporation's tax liability, then the state pays the corporation in the form of a refund, so the difference. So either they get to save the money or they get the money, no matter what the state helps pay for these expenses if you're a C corporation. So again, this sheet that we designed for C corporations, for employers, is to help them know that they can claim 30% of whatever they pay helping with childcare expenses. And then, because we wanted to help parents out in their advocacy voice, we also created the fourth and final sheet, and that's the one that looks like this. This is the same topic, the Kansas Child Daycare Assistance Tax Credit, but this one's written with the parent as the audience. What do parents need to know? So again, their advocacy message is, first, ask your employer if they're taxed as a C corporation. If they're not eligible for this tax credit, but if they are, ask them to tap into it. It's underutilized, it's a tax benefit, and it's there to support workplaces that want to help their employees with the cost of childcare. So this is how the two can work together. So if you take both the Dependent Care FSA and you take the tax credit and you combine them, this is the way that it's worded in the employer version. It says, here's an example of the savings your company realizes when the employee and your company both contribute to the employee's Dependent Care FSA. The state of Kansas covers 30% of your company's contribution, and your company avoids 7.65% payroll taxes on your employee's contribution. So just for people who want to see it in a picture, this is what it looks like. Remember, in a typical year, the limit for an FSA is $5,000. So if the C corporation contributes $2,500 and the employee contributes $2,500, and you multiply that times 40 happy employees, usually you would think that 2,500 times 40 employees would come to $100,000 expense to the employer. But it's not true here, because the C corporation gets a 30% tax credit back from the state of Kansas, and they also avoid payroll taxes to the tune of 7.65%. So you see the light blue part is the actual expense to the corporation. And that's why we say on the literature that paying for childcare costs C corporations less money than it costs parents. So I am going to stop for questions on these four resources. I still have a few slides left, but I wonder, Hannah, if you could let me know if there are any questions in the chat, because I'm not looking at it right now.
Yes, so we did get one question asking if this has been shared with the Kansas Chamber of Commerce.
If it's been what with the chamber?
Shared.
Yes, because they are members of the Kansas Power of the Positive, and they just had their meeting last week, and that was where these materials were unveiled. But we do need to have a little bit more intentional dissemination through not only the chamber, but with the Department of Commerce, but also through their field offices.
Lucas, did that answer your question?
I hope it. I think it did, although I got confused at the end. Differentiating between the Department of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, so remind me, Lucas, which one was in your original question?
The original question was the Chamber.
The Chamber of Commerce, like the state of Kansas Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
I would think that would be a good place to get this out. Alan Cobb, who I am nearly certain is still the director of the chamber. Nice guy. You know, they obviously they have a very particular view of the role of business and all of that, but seeing these numbers, if they would advocate to their members, it would be huge.
I also wonder about the SHRM organizations, local and statewide for HR professionals. Mallory, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, this is Mallory Arlano. I had a question. So for this, is this beneficial for only, let me say this right, like daycares or individuals that have daycares that file taxes as like a daycare company? Does that make sense? Because like I'm asking because a lot of people I know, they use individuals to watch their children during the day because we have a hard time. I'm out here in Garden City, Kansas, and in Western Kansas, we have a hard time finding childcare, getting children in those facilities because they're full. So there's a lot of individuals that find people to watch their children. So I didn't know if it's benefit for everybody or just, I guess, those that file taxes for it. Does that make sense?
Mallory, I need to ask a clarifying question. If your question is about the types of parents that can talk to their employers about making these benefits available, or if you're talking about, here, let me just answer it this way. If you're a parent that's working for any business and you use a family child care provider, as long as it's a work-related expense, you can claim it on your dependent care FSA.
Okay.
But if you are a center director, for example, and you're an employer, and we're now talking about the child care, not as the institution that cares for the child, but rather as the employer themselves. So I run a child care center, and I'm the employer. Is this could this be available to my employees who are childcare providers? Yes, dependent care FSAs can work for any size employer.
Perfect. Yes, I believe that answers my question. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah.
Mallory, I also got from your question, maybe that so let's say I contribute to my FSA and my children are watched by an individual in her home and she has a family childcare instead of taking them to a large center. Is it possible that your question was also, am I able to access the money that I put into the FSA to pay my provider directly?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, it just needs to be a work-related childcare expense. So as long as you need that childcare in order to go to work, then yes, it's an eligible expense.
Lucas? I see a hand raised, but
Sorry, I keep my hand up. I apologize.
no problem. I was wondering, Anne, could you kind of, in layman's terms, explain to us what a C corporation is?
I can't, in layman's terms, describe what a C corporation is because I really don't know. All I know is that the state of Kansas right now only offers the tax credit to C corporations, which is a kind of tax designation. And there was quite a bit of work from Kansas Action for Children this year to pass legislation that would change it so they would open it up to other kinds of entities, but that they didn't finish pushing that bill through by the end of the legislative session. And honestly, we even tried to get a list of C corporations in the state, and that wasn't possible. So I think the best thing to do is to ask your employer whether they are taxed as a C corporation.
Lucas, I can't tell if you're.
I'm here, and I can't say a whole lot more except that you're talking about for-profit businesses when you're talking about C Corp, correct?
Yes.
And they're also, your larger employers, because the S Corp is generally a smaller employer and your C Corps are going to be larger employers, correct?
I think typically, but I can't say with any authority.
But so this leaves out school districts or local governments or lots of employers with lots of employees that would be in a position to do the paperwork.
Yes, because school districts don't have tax liability. And so this is only limited to, it's only a benefit to employers that have a tax liability. So not a nonprofit organization, not a school district, not a governmental organization. That does leave a lot of employers off the table. It is limited, but it's also, if you do work for a C corporation, very, very generous and underutilized.
And if you don't mind, I'd have one maybe point to add.
Oh, I hope you do, Mitch. Thank you.
Yeah. So yes, I think, Luke, in general, the C Corps are the larger ones. So the bill that is in the legislature right now, awaiting a vote when they return in January or next session, would expand it to all business types. And that was the case. That is historically how the tax credit was structured until 2013, when those smaller businesses got excluded from this credit because their tax liability at the state level was eliminated by a tax bill that passed that year. And so the bill would simply restore it to all of those businesses who now are back on the tax rolls. So it is targeting those smaller businesses who did used to qualify and now do not. And the bill number is, there are two bills. They are, sorry, I'm seeing the chat. It's House Bill 2414, and a nearly but not quite identical bill is in the Senate, and that is Senate Bill 263. I can still remember those numbers from May.
That's amazing. Thank you, Mitch.
Yep.
And one last thing, and then I'm gonna let this go and stop harassing you. So I know that some employers will make a contribution to an HSA if the employee is willing to sign up for a higher deductible or pick the highest deductible plan. Not in the near future, but in the future, could you see the same type of concept being applied to an FSA contribution by the employer? I would assume that there's some benefit to an employer, giving a monetary allocation to the employee's HSA and, avoiding more contribution to their deductible. Could this translate into the childcare world, or do you not see that happening? That might be an unfair question.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, if I were a parent wanting to advocate at work for childcare subsidy, the benefit to the employer really is recruitment and retention and productivity. And there we have numbers to back that up, and that's why we share those numbers on the information sheet, because there's plenty for the employer to get back for that investment. I'm going to finish up my slides because I know you have other presenters. And that is just to let you know that in addition to these 4 PDFs that I just shared with you today, we've also created some images that that are formatted for either a PowerPoint or formatted for social media or formatted for a web banner. So if you have a website that that speaks to parents and you'd like to add this banner to your slider and link to the resources, we encourage that. If you'd like to get this out in your social media channels and send people toward the resources, we've got some sample posts. We have, if you want to make a presentation, you can take advantage of the images that are formatted for PowerPoint. And we did take this to the Early Childhood Recommendations Panel and asked for their ideas about dissemination. They thought childcare providers, you might not want to give your parents tax advice, but you could give them this information, and so that parents could be armed with the information that they need in order to go to their employers and ask for help. DCF, when a parent doesn't qualify for assistance, could they say, well, you don't qualify for assistance, but you could ask your employer to help, and here are some information. Home visiting programs, for sure, any WIC offices and other programs that work with families with young children who can get this into the hands of parents so that they can advocate for themselves. And then each of the sheets ends with one more piece of information, and that is about the Kids Are Good business. And the idea here is we've been asking employers, we've been asking employees across Kansas, is this important to you? And if the employer wants to know, is this important to their employees? Ask them. Just go to familyfriendlykansas.org, use the survey and ask them. And that way you'll know what their priorities are. Very briefly, the Kids Are Good business survey asks parents, how important is this to my ability to provide a safe, stable, nurturing environment for my children? And I don't have to go into much of this because you're going to be hearing from Rochelle Soden from KCSL, my colleague there. She's going to be speaking next specifically about this. And that is it from me. So if you want to contact me, I'm ann.mock@wichita.edu. If you want to learn more about the Kids Are Good business survey, go to familyfriendlyks.org. And if you want to learn more about the Kansas Power of the Positive, that's the coalition that does child maltreatment prevention coalition work for the state. That's kansaspowerofthepositive.org. Hannah, were there any final questions before I stop sharing?
I do not see any.
Lovely. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to this group. And I hope that you can make good use of the resources. Thanks so much.
We very much appreciate it. So informative. Thanks again. Especially, it's always short notice with us. We just hit you up and make demands and then expect you to turn around and show up. So we're going to turn it over now to Rochelle Soden, again with Kansas Children's Service League. And we get to hear more about the Family Friendly Workplace Survey. So whenever you are ready.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I hopefully you can see my screen sharing. A positive thumbs up. Always good to get feedback. We've learned what we think you see and hear isn't always what you are seeing and hearing. So, and Anne, I appreciate all that you have just shared as a lead into this. I also really appreciated the visual of you walking around providing handouts, because I think many of us are missing the actual human interaction of training and meetings. And so I appreciate that. But the information that Anne provided is leads perfectly into this. As Anne said, we work well together in a lot of capacities, including on the Kansas Power of the Positive. A quick introduction of myself. I'm Rochelle Soden with Kansas Children's Service League, and I'm a training manager and have been with the agency for a really long time. We know that things that Anne was just talking about, advocating for childcare and high quality early learning, is one aspect of how we have strong families building strong businesses. And we know that healthy beginnings and high quality early learning for all children really can change the economic trajectory for our region. And one of the ways we do that is by thinking through how we are supporting those safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments in all capacities. And so real briefly, Kansas Children's Service League, if you aren't familiar with us, I know many of you are, we are a statewide nonprofit organization that's been around since over 128 years. And we have a mission of protecting and promoting the well-being of children. And one of the things that we do is provide training at the community level to anyone and everyone. And what we know here in Kansas from pretty recent data is that we have a really low unemployment rate and a really high number of open jobs. I'm sure you all have been hearing this. You've been hearing lots of news stories about this, not just at the state level, but the national level. And so we are really needing strategies to move the unemployed into the workplace, but also recognizing that these workers and those workers that are already working really need supports to be successful and remain in the workplace. And so one way of doing that is to support employees, particularly working parents, through family-friendly workplace policies and practices. And when we have thinking through family-friendly as business-friendly, we know that the lives of Kansans have changed dramatically. We know that workplaces have changed, and those that have adapted and started to support working parents and families, those are the ones that are really thriving and retaining their employees. And when we have employers supporting their employees through proven family-friendly practices and policies, it's really a win-win. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those wins on both sides. But we also know that employers of every size and industry in our state can play an important role in assuring that all children reach their full potential. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm affiliated with some businesses, or I'm, have friends or family who are affiliated with businesses that aren't directly involved in raising children or directly involved in early childhood. And what we know is that even if you're not directly involved in raising children, the support for family-friendly workplace policies and practices is good for that business and ultimately good for Kansas. So when we're looking at benefits, businesses that actively promote and implement these dynamic practices to support families, they actually have a competitive advantage to attract and retain skilled workers. They have improved onboarding. They have reduced turnover and lower absenteeism. They're increasing their job satisfaction and engagement, and they're also ultimately developing a future workforce. Some of the areas that Anne talked about are part of what we call a menu of family-friendly workplace options, which are assessed in that Kids Are Good Business survey that she also referenced. And as you can see on your screen, there are a wide variety of ways that businesses can become more family-friendly and develop policies and practices that do support their employees. Businesses that become more family-friendly can implement any of these areas by completing and implementing a quick and easy and free assessment that Anne referenced. It takes into account these 8 family-friendly policy areas, and each one of these has research-proven benefits to a business's bottom line. So each question in the survey of the self-assessment ties to one of these policy areas listed here. And they not only go for the bottom line, but again, they are attracting employees. They are having higher retention. They're having higher satisfaction and higher productivity. There are, of course, benefits to children and families, which is why this is all tied together to early childhood work. We know that when employees are working for family-friendly businesses, they report feeling happier, healthier, and supported at their jobs. And these policies and practices are also supporting conditions that allow working parents to provide those safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments for their children, which is, of course, part of the broader scheme of helping to prevent and reduce child abuse and neglect in our state. These are just some of the things on the screen that we have with benefits for children and families. But again, the high quality childcare, access to high quality childcare, it ties right into some of the things Anne was talking about. There are many other benefits listed on here, and I would be happy to answer some of those questions. But for sake of time, I'm going to keep moving through. The way that we ensure children have a safe, stable, nurturing environment in which to grow is by supporting family-friendly policy change. So we know that together we can build a better Kansas workforce for tomorrow while simultaneously supporting those in the workforce today. When families are successful, children are successful. And when children are successful, it's truly positive for everyone. So that's where our strong families build strong businesses theme comes from. We want you, all of you, to get involved. The Kansas Power of the Positive, which is what Anne has referenced and talked about, developed an employee survey, which is based on the CDC's Essentials for Childhood documents and successful strategies that create safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments through those workplace policies. The survey is less than 40 questions. It is anonymous and it takes less than about 10 minutes to complete. So it's not a big time commitment. And the results are then compiled by Wichita State and Anne's team at Community Engagement Institute. And the report results then show areas where employees feel the business is already thriving, and then also identifies areas that could be improved upon. And so I have the link there on the slide, which I know has also been dropped into the chat for where you can go to find access to the survey. But we really have a call to action to all of you. We want you to be thinking about, how are you engaging with the businesses in your community? Who do you know that needs to hear this message about how businesses really do play a huge role in supporting children and families? So we want you to be thinking about potentially your board members at your agencies, because many of you are already having child abuse prevention focused missions or early childhood promoting missions. So who's sitting on your boards who are also in senior staff positions at their businesses? We want to be able to connect with them. That's a great way to start connecting, is going through your board members so that they can hear this message and hear the tie-ins. We also want you to be considering your own agency as an employer. It's not just them out there, the businesses out there. We are also all part of businesses. And so consider yourself as a business and an employer, and potentially implement the survey for your own staff. And you can connect with us at KCSL to help get that going. We will gladly help get you started. But we are at the end of August. And so we want you to be thinking about, by the end of the year, how many businesses and employers or coalition members will you have talked to about these kind of concepts or shared these kind of information with? So we really want to be able to help support you. We want to help recruit businesses of all types for the survey, because that's ultimately the next step for moving this work forward and creating strong communities that have supported family-friendly workplaces. You can contact any one of us at KCSL. I'm, of course, the one in the middle. My colleague Dana Book is on as well, and he is also working directly on the Family Friendly Workplace project that we have at our agency. You can go to familyfriendlyks.org. You can go to the general email site. But ultimately, we want to connect with you. We want to help you encourage movement of getting businesses to adopt those family-friendly policies, because really, truly strong families do build strong businesses. So let us know how we can help. I will be happy to answer any questions if you have any, but I know we're also getting low on time, so I will end there and turn it back over to Hannah.
Thank you so much. Wow, you guys are like just the dynamic duo. Just what a great session. So all of those links that we've talked about have been put in the chat. If you have questions, please reach out. And like I said, I'm going to go check this out myself because I'm very curious now. We're actually going to be able to give you guys a couple of minutes back. We just have a few more things for you. So just a reminder, the next early childhood recommendations panel meeting is the 17th of September. And like I said, it's going to be very different this time. If you didn't watch the August meeting, you can, like I said, pop into those rooms and kind of see what those subgroups are actually working on in real time. It's very interesting, just the dynamics and the collaboration. Our next biweekly webinar is going to be the 8th, so 2 weeks, and then you get to see our faces again. I know it's very exciting. We have our Kansas Children's Cabinet and stakeholder group meeting. Next one is October 1st. We are always looking for what you want to hear about in that stakeholder meeting. We try and build content for the audience. So when we say reach out to us and let us know what you're curious about, we really mean it. It saves us a lot of procrastination. And yeah, as always, we like to ask for feedback. So if you have feedback for this webinar team, you can put that in the link provided. And we always want to hear, if we need to change something, if there's something that you want to hear more about, or if you're kind of sick of hearing the same thing. So please let us know, because we want this hour to be useful for you. And that's all we have. But really, thank you to Anne and Rochelle. Thank you so much for that incredible information. And I'm just hopeful that everybody kind of takes that ask into mind and see what kind of conversations we can have up the chain. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.